everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Erin, and for today's video we are going to be talking about randonauting. What is randonauting, you may ask? I'm going to have a video linked down below that will tell you what randonauting is. It's actually the video that is linked in the Randonautica app. So I, like many others, became aware of randonauting over TikTok. What does randonauting mean? So you open up the app, and what it's going to do, it's a quantum random number generator. So it pretty much picks a random longitude and latitude that's around you, and you're supposed to go to that point. However, before you go to that point, it asks you to set an intention. So, are you looking for something pretty, peaceful, blue, scary? Whatever your intention is, you're supposed to you can think it out loud or you can think it in your head, and you just are supposed to set your intentions before you have them generate these numbers, which is a point that you're supposed to go to via GPS. So essentially with the app, you set forth your intention, you go to this random point that's generated, and you're supposed to find something that is related to whatever your intention was. So it's a little hard to explain, but you're essentially using your mind to control your destiny type of deal. I'm sure that can be explained a little bit more eloquently than I can, but I think you'll get the gist of it as I explain a little bit more. So the Randonautica app has 9 tenets. I'll go ahead and kind of give you a rundown of those. The first one is seeing in the dark. So it's dedication to exploring the uncertainty and blind spots of the world around us. So pretty much most of these random points that are generated are places that are around you that you have been by or you've been near, but you've just never really saw them, if that makes sense. Like you haven't actively been looking for that particular point. Venture with mindfulness, paying attention, practicing safety and situational awareness. This is pretty important. You always want to be aware of your surroundings, especially since some of these points that are generated are like in random, like the middle of the woods and stuff. So you always want to be extremely safe. Be sincere. Show compassion and willingness to understand oneself and the community. High vibes intent. Be luminous in thought and strive to radiate a positive mindset. This is important, and we'll kind of get to this in a second. Value inner life. Appreciation toward the self as a catalyst for an effect on the external environment. Bridge culture gaps. Share experiences to assist in understanding the beauty of shared global consciousness. Transform and shift. Curiously test the theory of quantum randomization and possibility to change a life path or shift into a new, better space and time. So that's kind of what I meant by the mind, your thoughts controlling your destiny. Bring a trash bag. Be respectful of the environment and always leave the place you traveled to better than what it was before. And synchronicity. Diving into randomness to find connections and meaning of both the individual and the community, using serendipitous occurrences to guide you on your path. They also give pro tips, which are important too. They say to use a positive mindset, which I 110% believe in with this app. Like I said, we'll get into that in a second. If you normally wouldn't adventure alone, go with a group. I suggest you always go with somebody. I wouldn't do this alone. I did do it alone today, but we'll get into that in a second. Randonauting is best done as a daytime activity. Again, I would recommend doing it during the day, although there are plenty of people who have been randonauting at night, which makes it a little more scary. This one is another important tip. Be respectful of property owners, never trespass, obey all quarantine, curfew, and social distancing regulations in your area, and do not go into dangerous areas. Okay, so the way this works is you allow the app to see your location, you think of your intent, and then you can pick different spots that you may want to go to. So they have attractors, which are dense clusters of random points, voids, which are the opposite of attractors. Anomalies are the strongest out of attractors and voids. So you can either pick an anomaly, an attractor, or a void. So what you do is you choose one of those. So essentially from what I get, which I could be wrong, an attractor is something that there are lots of random points around that area that come up, so it's essentially, I would say, a more popular spot. And voids are the opposite of that. They're kind of way out there. And then an anomaly is either the strongest of either one of those. However, that's still confusing to me, so not very helpful in explaining that any better than that. So I became aware of the Randonautica app off of TikTok. I'm sure some of you know that there are a couple viral videos that have sprung from TikTok about randonauting. The one that comes to mind the most is this one.
Guys, we found a suitcase at the beach.
Gabby, go. I'll hold your stuff. I don't know.
Bro. Wait, open it.
Me and we were like, we're gonna find nothing.
Open it.
Able to sleep.
It stinks, y'all.
It washed out. It's
Oh. Oh. Okay, so she made. Okay, so she's calling the police so we can see if it's actually a dead body or it's just food.
What do I found a suitcase on the water point in Alpine Beach. And
Yeah, here's the crime scene.
So essentially, these kids went randonauting. They were in the Seattle area. They come upon this suitcase. They decide to open up the suitcase, and it stinks really bad. The one girl is hoping that maybe it's just rotting food. In any event, they decide to call the police. The police eventually come. They do an investigation. There's actually a cut-up body in said suitcase. Not only was there one body found there, but the police actually found another suitcase that had a second body in it. So that's an open murder investigation. I'll link some news stories to it down below. It is absolutely true. So they never really said what their intention was that they set forth, but they did happen to come across this, and it was 2 murdered people. Like I said, it's an open murder investigation, so that's definitely really scary. There's another viral video on TikTok where this girl is hysterically crying.
so I just went randonauting. I just went randonauting, and our intention was death.
She's hysterically crying, and she says that the intention that they had set forth was death. They happened to come upon a woman holding her husband, and he had been shot, and he did end up dying. Now, this was before they even got to the point that was generated that they found this. So, again, that's someone else who is saying, don't go randonauting. There are a whole slew of creepy videos from randonauting that seem a little bit too coincidental. I mean, I could go over a whole bunch of them, but this video would become entirely too long. So I decided to look into randonauting a little bit more, and there's actually a whole subforum on Reddit for it. It's called Randonauts. So I will say that the posts that are in this Randonauts forum are definitely a little more than coincidental, and I'll show you just a few, just so you can get an idea of it. This one says, first time. I was supposed to move 8,000 miles away back in April, then the world shut down. Been a mess since. My intentions were a sign of comfort/reassurance things would work out. And then their point was this sign that said, enjoy life. This user, HB Squish, said, third point of my walk after the first 2 were on private property. Intention was peace. This one is by Bolt 2013. My first time using this, my intent was treasure, and it took me to this. X marks the spot. This person, Insignia H Dizzle, put intentions were something creepy for an anomaly, and was not disappointed when I found a 20-foot tall Santa in the middle of the woods on a dirt road. So those are just a few. There's a ton of them on Reddit. So I do have the Randonautica app, and I have tried using it. With that being said, where my house is, I live on the coast of North Carolina. In the town that I live in, where I am is kind of in the middle of a national forest, and there's water as well as a large military base. I don't currently have anybody to go randonauting with me, so The first couple of points I got, one was in the middle of the river that's by my house, and I don't have a boat, so I'm not going to find that. The second one was in the middle of the woods, and I'm not about to go get lost in the middle of the woods by myself, because this was like definitely off the beaten path in the middle of the woods, so I didn't do that one. So I didn't go into the middle of my town to do this because I was afraid that it was going to give me a point that was on the military base, and I'm not about to go randonauting in the middle of a military base. So I went to a town that's nearby where I live. Not thinking really though, because that town is more coastal than my town. In any event, I went there and I decided I was going to try this. I had no intentions of like getting out and going by myself because I was by myself. I really just wanted to be able to see whatever point it was from my car. So I set my intent, which was tranquility. So the first point that came up actually put me again in the middle of the water, so obviously not going to be able to go there. So I went ahead and ran a second set of points with the same thing, tranquility. And what popped up was an island that was nearby. Now I've been to this island before, and it's definitely one of my happy places. I love going there and being able to see the island because there are wild horses on the island, and it's just really pretty. Now obviously, like I said, I wasn't about to get out of my car or, attempt to drive it over to the island because you can only get there by boat. But you can see it from the road. So I didn't film because there were a lot of people there and I didn't want them to think that I was some weirdo filming them from my car by myself. But I'll pop some pictures in of this island, and it definitely is a tranquil spot. I'm gonna try the app again, but between the videos from TikTok that went viral and the posts that I've seen on Reddit, I'm pretty convinced that this app is like legit. Like there's way too much coincidence. And like I said, you can think your intents in your head, so it's not like your phone hears you when you think these things in your head. Well, at least I hope it doesn't. That being said, do I think that this is a safe app? Not really. If I'm going to be doing this alone, I will be doing it from the safety of my car. I won't be getting out of my car, and I won't be going to an area that I know is shady. Also, like it says right on the app, I would highly recommend if you are going to go randonauting, probably should set forth a positive intention. Obviously, if you think something negative like death or creepy or scary, you're probably not going to get something too happy. I get the thrill of it, I totally do, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it. I'm also a little hesitant to think that maybe these points are set forth to get people into bad situations. Now, the ones that I had today, I don't feel like that, but I feel like if you're going to put negative stuff out there, that this could easily lead you into a bad spot. So you have to be extremely careful with it, is pretty much my point. So do I think that this has the potential to be a fun app? Absolutely. I definitely can't wait to try it out with some people, but it'll be during the day. And like I said, you have to be very aware of where you are and what's going on around you. If you think you're going into a spot that's probably not great, don't go there. My only advice is if you are going to download the app and use it, be safe. Don't be dumb. Don't put yourself in a situation where something bad can happen. Now, obviously, the people who found the bodies, I don't think that that was necessarily a bad spot to be in, but just be aware that things like that can happen. Like I said, I don't know what their intent was, so I don't know if that was just coincidental that those bodies ended up there, but it's definitely strange for sure. So what about you guys? Have you been randonauting? If you have, let me know down below if your intents were met. If you would like to see me make a video of me actually randonauting, let me know down below as well. and I'll try to give it a go, like actually filming it. But yeah, overall, I think that the Randonautica app is definitely intriguing, has the potential to be dangerous, definitely could be creepy, and I really think it's weird that people are setting these intentions and going to these spots and finding this stuff that has to do with it. I think it's pretty amazing. Like with me, like I said, I was looking for tranquility and it brought up the island that I was talking about. So it's definitely got me being a believer. But that is it for this video, guys. If you liked it, please give me a big old thumbs up. If you like this video and you've not yet subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button down below, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye!